Firelands is launching in a couple of days, and a lot of returning Boomkins are trying to get back into the groove with their rotation. They're looking for some gearing advice. So I've got the current rank 14 All Star from tier 11 from phase 1 and phase 2, GT, to
Yeah,
talk about all this gear, rotation, professions, and more. So, GT, thanks for joining me.
yeah. Thanks for inviting me. Gonna be a blast today.
Oh yeah. So how did you enjoy tier 11? We had what? BOT, we had Baron and Hold even, we had Throne of the Four Winds, and what was the other one? BOW? I can't even remember the raid names.
Yeah, the Throne, Blackwing Descent, and Bastion of Twilight was it?
BOT. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I really do enjoy it. But you know, it's like Radvolicking. Like even though like, Uldra is a great raid, and ICC was also like it's just once you're repeating it for week 20 plus, it just get boring, right? So yeah, it's time to move on, I guess.
What would you say your
Even though I
favorite
like it,
fight
I like it.
was?
Of tier 11, let's
Hmm.
see.
I know I liked Halfus just because we kind of got into solar and just sat there and
Yeah,
mushroom,
I
mushroom,
didn't like
mushroom.
Halfus to be honest,
No?
because no, because like with the Tyrannian mirror, like like waiting for procs, and imagine like on the first three casts, on your way to solar, you don't get a proc, then you have to actually stay in Wrathing, not to proc solar, just wait for it, trinket proc. I mean, that's just stupid.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
probably Nefarian, even though like I really like Nefarian's fight because there's a lot of multi-dotting. Uh, actually had 100, but there's a stupid MC, right? Random stuff that is ruining it. So yeah, I don't know. If it was somewhat fair, it would be like my favorite fight. But I like Tyrael and Valiona. I don't know the twin dragons. Yeah, I think I was very consistent. It was like I was very good on OG on it, and yeah, I was consistent in now in Cataclysm Classic on it. Like pretty much 99s almost every single week. So, yeah. And the rank too. Like I couldn't
Yeah,
push
yeah.
the rank one because like our kill times were bad. But, yeah, it's what it is.
Well, you put out a couple of videos for your rank ones when they were rank ones, and your 99s for a couple of boss fights. Back in Wrath, you did boss guides for the bosses as well. Kind of slipped out of that for Cata so far. So, any plans for your YouTube channel to have more content for Firelands?
I was thinking about it to be honest. And sorry, because I'm kind of sick, so
Mm.
probably you hear it in my voice. But yeah, I was thinking about it when Cataclysm was releasing that I will probably will be doing these guides, but seeing how time consuming it was back in Wrath and like how little of the actual audience Cataclysm Classic has, and I got a new job. Like daughter is bigger, so I have to pay attention to my family, etc. So there's not that much time to do these things. I will probably just do some of these raw kill recordings. If that helps anyone. Like, sure, but probably not like 10, 15 minutes videos of like guide of how to do properly the stuff. So,
Yeah. I'm kind of in that same boat, so I feel you on that. Did you do any of the Molten Front event, or have you done any of the Inferno dungeons since the Firelands patch launched? Because I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
I saw
I was
there's some pre-raid gear that's from the Molten Front event that I didn't even realize. There was like 3 pieces on the Wowhead guide that were 365, and I don't know how much DPS that really increased over just the tier 11 gear. I'm sure it was pretty small, but Biss is Biss, so.
Yeah, but over what? Like our sure in tier 11 base, are we still replacing something with Molten Forge? Like I was fortunately I was doing it because I knew the relic was an upgrade, so I did the relic, right? I bought the relic, even though we will buy the Valor one anyway. But at least for the first couple of weeks, I guess it will be a DPS boost. But I'm not sure over what are we switching actually different than because
Uh,
rings and everything, right? It's supposed to be like
there was a
372.
365 ring spirit fragment band. Let me see where that came from actually, because the weapon I just realized was a BOE, even though it is 365. I mean, maybe these are coming out in the phase. I should have looked at that. I just saw 365 and I was like, oh yeah,
Because there's
they
a
must.
diff. Like I have to check as well. Like I haven't.
Oh yeah, the spirit fragment band looks like it's from the Molten front.
Yeah.
There was the weapon, the relic, and the ring. I think maybe the
But yeah,
relic
I
piece.
was doing the Molten front because of the relic mostly and the chalice or chalice. I don't know how to say it in English. Sorry, Moon MVC. Let's call it MWC. Right. So I guess it seems lower on single target because like the capacitator or whatever, the lightning bolt shooting trinket will be our thing with the dark one trinket on single target. But I guess still mirror and the MWC has its own usage on if you want to snapshot mastery and stay camping solar. I guess it will be nice for Lord Riolet, I don't know, or Battlelag. I guess those are the two that can be used.
All right. Yeah, I didn't really do any of the Molten front. I tried it on the PTR, tested them, and then that was it. I did like one day, did like every single quest that I could, and I was like, okay, I've had fun. But the Inferno
Yeah,
dungeons, I've
I
been
didn't have
doing
fun.
those.
It was very long and not fun at all.
I did Tuesday on launch. I did what the 7 for the Valor cap for Inferno dungeons, and I got like 83 or something of the fragments. And I went to the vendor
Yeah.
to see how much the cloak cost, and it cost 80. And I was like, man, like that was kind of fast, just getting the 3, or was it 379 cloak that
I
quick.
actually, I was doing Infernos because I was still missing the planetary band
Yeah.
because I never had the RNG of the. I mean, this RNG also like a stupid. It was a great idea by Blizzard. Like, hey, you know what? Let's put this random suffix so they have to. If it drops, they have a chance of not dropping that exact, you know, combination of what they want. So they
Hmm.
have to. So I never got the combination. So I actually, when running Inferno dungeon, on the first satchel, I got it, the
Oh,
planetary
nice.
band of Undertow. Yeah, so. And I was also farming Valor on my other Moonkin druid, the second one old. So I bought the BOE bracers and
Hmm.
sent it to my main. So
Yeah.
I'm min-maxing for the first week, even though it's like I don't know, like 20 DPS over the there was a what was it called in
Manacles or something.
Manacle, yeah, something like that. Let's see, Manacles of the Sleeping Beast, yeah, tiny DPS upgrade, but yeah, yeah.
I thought about doing it, but I haven't gotten on my alt boomkin because its eye level I think is maybe 320. I'm like, do I want to
Yeah.
spend gold and like buy gear and just to get the eye level to do infernos and then have to do even more? I guess I don't have to do infernos. I could just do regular heroics, but still got
Yeah,
to get some gear on it to even
I mean,
start doing that.
it's just, I think it was very easy. But I was on item level for Infernos as well, so I was just doing random heroic for like, I don't know, what is it, like 260 or 240 per day? 240, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think
And
that.
I think it's 1,250 valor for the bracer. So if you do just one random heroic, so it's like 5.2 days. So in 6 days, you have the less than a week just doing one random dungeon.
All right. Well, since we're talking about gear, let's talk a little bit about how you geared in Phase 11, Phase 11, Tier 11. Jeez. There was a couple options that we had to choose, like from our secondary stat. We had mastery, we had haste, we had crit. I know there's some haste points for or break points for haste. uh, some people were saying, get to a break point, then switch and gear towards mastery. Crit, I think everybody agreed on was the worst stat for us to go after. But I just went full haste. I never went to mastery after getting a certain break point or anything like that. I just shipped everything towards haste. So how did you gear for pumping as hard as you did?
Yeah, I had a similar approach. Like I was putting everything mostly towards haste, but I wasn't like tunnel visioning haste, right? Like I was still putting everything through sim, so whatever actually pushed the higher number, um, it's what I went with. So yeah, but I was prioritizing mostly haste just to get those breakpoints. So I actually got the 200. What is it? I'm at 2370 haste at the moment. So I'm actually getting the 12 tick with Dark Intent, and I'm lucky enough uh, to have the Dark Intent in our raid. So that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it last week. I was in a 25-man raid and just pugging with the old guild. And in my 10-man raid that I was in for the first couple of weeks of Cata, we didn't have a warlock, so I never got to feel what it felt like. And then
Uh,
having it for like one raid, it's just like, oh man, I wish I had this every raid.
yeah. I mean, we are there's no propaganda, right? But we are actually the best target. If of course it's player
Yeah,
over
yeah.
class, right? But if you have the same skill player on every class, like we are actually better than Shadow Priest
Mm.
for the raw Ray DPS gain, or even for personal DPS gain of for the Warlock.
So for your trinkets, did you just sit with mirror vol? Ooh,
Yeah, sorry, dogs.
you're good. Just mirror and um volcano the whole time, or did you swap trinkets maybe on a certain fight? Because we had what heart was the another option. We had bell for another option.
Yeah, it was mostly just uh, Mirror and the Dark Moon throughout the whole phase, basically. There was at the start of the Cataclysm, right? There was discussion like Heart is on the par with Terran's Mirror, but I hated it. Like, so I feel like, oh no, I just gotta go with Mirror, and I hate that as well because the rest don't proc. It's stupid. So I can't wait to get the capacitator and get rid of the mirror. But hey, Riolit and Battle will still get the mirror. So.
And what about glyphs? Did you ever swap glyphs?
Yeah, I was doing it actually. I was
Ah,
swapping. That was the only thing I was swapping actually. So I was swapping to Glyph of Focus on fights like Magma, I don't know, the worm. Uh, Also Atramedes sometimes. Chimeran, the worm. That's Glyph of Focus fight because you don't have to. Even Maloriak, I was switching to Glyph of Focus. And I guess I'm not wrong. And the rest of the fights is pretty much out of Glyph of Focus. Yeah. Because you you know, couldn't be in those 15 yards. So yeah.
you took off glyph of wrath for focus, so you still had insect
No,
swarm
no,
and
no.
hellfire.
I was taking out. It's not primary, right? It's what is it
Oh, focus
called?
is a major glyph.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was taking out Moonsoon or whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reducing the cooldown on the yeah Glyph of Moonsoon.
yeah. That makes sense. You can tell I'm a little rusty on my kata knowledge. I've been playing too much sod, but I've been getting back into kata slowly past couple weeks.
I never tried, so
Mm.
I don't think I will.
It's so fun. I like it better than kata boomy, but I'm having fun in kata, like the content of kata right now more than the content in sod. It's a weird time to be a Boomian classic for me.
I actually very much like Cataclysm. Like, I think the rates are good. I actually never tried Dragon Soul, so I can't speak about. But tier 11 and tier 12, I think, are very good rates. And I very much like this iteration of Boomy. I think it's much better than what Radulich King was. So,
Oh yeah.
I think it's shame that doesn't have the I don't know. It has a very bad reputation, and you see the player base is very low compared to Radulich. So I don't know. It is what it is. It's a shame.
All right, let's talk about professions. This is probably going to be pretty quick. Engineering, tailoring. Are you both of those? That's what I've been sticking with the whole
Yeah,
time.
engineering, tailoring. I was alchemy, uh, but yeah, since I was min-maxing, I had to. I didn't have to, but I wanted to switch to tailoring. So yeah, the whole phase one I was engineering and tailoring, but I think I am gonna get rid of tailoring for Dragon Soul phase 4, phase 3. I don't know what phase 4 will be, but since the epic gems will come out, right? I think blacksmithing will. I'm not gonna say pull ahead, but it will be at least on par with tailoring. And I hate the RNG of tailoring as well, right? Because like the average try of blacksmithing, you will have better results, like consistent results, right? But sometimes, like like you can have lined everything perfectly, like have you know uh, zero mistakes, and you are expecting, oh man, this will be a really great rank, but no, because the procs were I don't know outside of Eclipse, no snapshotting. It was in I don't know in some kind of transition, etc. So I hate this shit, man.
All right. This is probably the most helpful section I would say for this conversation. So I tried to put it in the middle. Uh, so we've got the rotation. I've gone through a couple different rotation changes myself. Uh, outside of pre popping 3 mushrooms on the ground. I started out casting Starfire, and then I started and switched it to Star Surge pre pull. But I think Starfire might still be better than Star Surge. So what are you doing pre pull? And I also switched from popping trinkets in combat, like the third or fourth GCD after pull, to popping that like right before the pull timer. I'm popping trance now.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, you like depends on the fight, right? So
Mhm.
let's say the most patchwork fight we can ask is probably Chimeran or Chimeran. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. The short form guy with the robot. I mean, I am putting the shrooms uh, on pre-full, waiting obviously for solar eclipse, and before I trigger the synapse springs. It is called in the intellect boost from engineering,
Yeah.
and then I pop my mushrooms, right? But oftentimes, like it's simple on this single target fight, but often and also on half and stuff like that. But I don't know, like on a lot of fights, like I don't know, like Magma or Tyrael and Valina, I just forget to. I put the shrooms pre-pool, and then after the fight, like, oh, I never popped them. So like they are still lying there after the boss is dead. So yeah, so I oftentimes forget. But yeah, I am precasting Starfire, and I do this mostly because like you just need 5 Starfires in order to reach the solar eclipse, right? So if you put Star Surge there, it's 15 energy, not 20.
Hmm.
So you just basically, you know, you will end up in 95 with 5 casts. So you will have to do the 6 Starfire anyway, the 6 cast to solar eclipse. So basically it takes longer. So I'm not doing that unless I'm waiting for the Terrarian's mirror proc, right? So if I see like, okay, it popped from first, I don't know, with Insect Swarm or Moonfire or the first Starfire, right? I'm just casting Starfire and I will cast Starforge on the solar eclipse. But if I'm trying to fish for the mirror proc, then I am casting Star Surge on my way to solar eclipse. And I think this will be the change. I wouldn't call it a change because we don't have that much different rotation in Cataclysm than like Radar Lich King was like I think in every phase it was different
Yeah.
dots, right? Like you this phase you multi-dot, this phase you use only insect swarm. Oh no, this dot phase you're using only Moonfire. Like it was very weird. And now it's pretty much you're using both dots and Star Surge on cooldown. You're trying to do Starfall on Lunar, right? But for example, me, I'm not doing the first Starfall on Lunar. I'm not waiting for that. Because for example, on that single target file like Chimeron is, like I'm popping my Starfall as soon as I don't know, like third global cooldown or something. When I see the trinket proc, like every single power torrent proc, like Tailoring Cloak proc, like I have very high spell power boost, and it will take also a long time till I get to the Lunar, right? So I'm popping it basically on the pool with those high, with pre-pod and with everything. So it's a very high value Starfall. And it actually lines up with when I get into the next Lunar, I think it's one cycle there and one cycle back, and then it's off cooldown. And it's off cooldown with the Synapse Spring as well. So then I pop Synapse Spring, I get to Lunar, pop Synapse Spring, and then I pop, and basically it's every Lunar since then. But the first Starfall, I'm not doing it in Lunar. Just doing it on pool. And yeah, but what was I saying? The difference in Cataclysm is that with the Star Surge, that will most likely not be casting it outside of Eclipse, basically. Now you don't mind to, on the way to whichever Eclipse, you're just throwing Star Surge as soon as it's on out of cooldown, right? Or you get the Shooting Star proc. But I think the play in tier 12 will be to hold on to Star Surge until you get into Eclipse. And the reason for it is that is it 2-piece or 4-piece? I think it's 4-piece, right? You have the extra energy for Wrath and Starfire, and you don't have that for Star Surge, meaning it will also it will basically delay your Eclipse because you will end up with, I don't know, like 98. Why am I 90? What the hell, right? Because you cast the Star Surge, man. So you don't do that.
So with your dots, I think it's Insect Swarm first, and then Moonfire, and then once you get into Solar at the start of the fight, are you immediately reapplying them, or are you trying to get a couple casts off while you still have Nature's Grace up? Sometimes I noticed I could get like a Wrath, maybe 2 Wraths with Nature's Grace, and then like re-snapshot the dots, so Insect Swarm would still get Nature's Grace. But are you doing anything like that with your dots?
I'm usually, like pretty much putting them as soon as I hit Solar or whichever Eclipse. Sometimes you get to, I think it's only Malarantis when I was going Lunar first and then Solar because it kind of lined it up with the Blackface. So yeah, I'm pretty much just refreshing. I mean the min-maxing strat, I think even Sim is doing that, is you actually start on pool with just one dot. So you're stronger one with Moonfire because
Oh yeah, I did see that.
and then you actually put both of your dots. Obviously Insect Swarm first because procs the Nature's Grace, so the next Moonfire or Sunfire will benefit from Nature's Grace as well. And then in tier 11, like the play was with the dots that we were pretty much refreshing it before leaving the Eclipse, right? Because we don't have this high haste values or Dragon Wrath, yeah, the stuff that can, double proc. Also, the procs of the staff actually generates the energy, so
Mm-hmm.
it will be even faster to get into Eclipse. So that's, and also with the 4-piece, right? So that's, I guess, the biggest change is that for most people, especially on single target, it will be faster to get into cycles from one Eclipse to another. So I think hopefully it will be a thing where you don't have to refresh those dots before leaving the Eclipse, right? So they should last like before you run into another Eclipse. So
Yeah,
I guess those are the two biggest changes, I would call them, going from tier 11 to tier 12, which I can think of, like holding on to Star Search for eclipses and trying to push the dots into, not refreshing them, so running from one eclipse to another while you have dots rolling, because the Aura Warlock will not be happy if you are not in 100% uptime.
It always feels good during Lust, because Lust, there's usually time to
Yeah,
not
yeah,
have to refresh the dots, but outside of
yeah.
Lust, it feels like it takes forever
Yeah,
to get to
and,
the
and,
other
and
eclipse.
going from lunar to solar is also quicker. Don't know if you noticed, but
I never paid attention to that part. No. All right, so
but I think in tier 12 actually with the dots, I think if you're like multi-dotting, like 2-3 targets, it might still be the play. I'm not sure. I'll have to feel it out basically on the go, right? But
yeah.
like I think like for now with the haze values I have in tier 11, like the multi like 2 target fight like Tyrael and Valiana are perfect for me right now, because like it's like four dots on like 2 on each of them, and then they're almost running out before you're leaving Eclipse, so you
Mhm.
refresh them ideally with all the procs with pots, and uh, you see the trinket proc and tailoring proc and everything, so you just put it on, leave it there with all those haze buffs, heroism, etc. And it's just cycle, it's rinse and repeat. So I think if you have more targets in tier 12, especially more than 2, like 3, maybe 4, which I don't know if there is a fight like that. Like probably Riolet, like you have always 2 targets. But yeah, if you have more on trash, like I think it will still be the play to refresh before leaving the, the eclipse.
All right. Do you also get PI, or is it just DI that you get?
I mean, I had like twice or maybe 3 times PI in tier 12. Like usually, like we want to be like kind of fair, so it's not like one guy is getting everything, even though unfortunately it feels like that in our guild. Like I'm usually the greedy bastard that wants everything, but yeah. Like we were splitting the PI for different, every single week the different caster had it basically. And when we had 2 warlocks, right? So one warlock was usually doing DI on me, and the other DI went to the PI target basically. So we had, you know, best possible combination if we wanted to parse.
All right. You already answered one of these questions I had. Any potential rotation changes? You smashed that one. Gearing. What are you trying to get first for your gear and from Firelands? So there's the Valor points. Like, what are you gonna spend your Valor on first? Are you going after a certain piece of tier or like the 2-set bonus as fast as you can? I'm just gonna kind of see where everything falls. I'm gonna be doing Baird and Hold to try to get the tier from that, but that doesn't come out until after the raid anyways. But still,
Yeah,
I'm gonna kind
yeah,
of hold my Valor, I think, until I've done Baird and Hold at least. But from what I remember simming, the idol might have been like my biggest upgrade because I didn't go after that Molten Front idol. So
right.
I might just
Really, because
buy
like
that.
the big brains on Boomy Discord, right? put on the list. I think it's even on Wowhead already.
Hmm.
I think the idol is one of the last things you should buy. I was simming like it, but I bought the Molten from, so it wasn't that huge of an upgrade. But yeah, I bought the braces, BOE braces already, my ult, so that was the first upgrade. And the first real buy I'm gonna get on my main will be the chest, most likely.
Hmm.
But that's unfortunately gonna be in week 2, so next. Basically, yeah, so it's actually next reset, right? So I will still get it before we step into Firelands, yeah. So yeah, that will be it. And I will still be in 4-piece because I have in tier 11, I have basically 4-piece without the chest. So I will upgrade the chest
Hmm.
and the bracers by not spending the valor points on it with my main, obviously. And then I will most likely go for the 2-piece. But I was trying to sim it actually. And usually the case, at least in Rat Lich King, right? It was like 2-piece was
Mhm.
usually the way to go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is like, if you have maybe some higher item level of pieces, maybe it's worth it. But when I was simming, like breaking the 4-piece tier 11 was DPS was like if I was going for 2-piece, like I was trying different combinations of like okay 2 pieces of this and 2 pieces of no, this 2 pieces of no, like everything was slightly like still like a DPS also. I will go for chest and then basically whatever seems more. I will obviously try to go for 4 pieces for like as soon as possible because that will be the biggest DPS increase, I guess. But yeah, I guess.
Mm.
If I get some lucky loot from Firelands and it will seem higher with 2-piece, I will do that. But so far, from my tier 11 here, it's not seeming higher.
Right. So for the trinkets, we've got the variable pulse lightning capacitor from
Yeah,
Ragnaros, and it looks like that is best in slot with either what is it, Dark Moon
it's still the
card.
Darkmoon card. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it
Um.
was such a good buy, wasn't it? That's why I was buying it the first week because I knew like this is gonna last a lot. So.
Are you looking at getting any other trinkets before you get heroic rag down and are able to get your hands on that one, or are you just kind of wait until you can get that
I
one?
think I will just wait because I don't think there's anything better than Mirror and Darkmoon outside of the capacitator. And also, no propaganda here, but also capacitator is again like much higher raw DPS gain for boomies than any other caster out there because it scales with a lot of things for us. But yeah, I will just I will wait for the capacity. There's like something called something necromantic focus or something like that, which is
Yeah.
stacking mastery, right? But as far as I know, and I was trying to sim it, like it was slightly worse compared to Mirror. So I'll just stay with Mirror and the Darkmoon card until I get the capacitator.
All right.
What about you? You're just asking questions.
Oh yeah, I'm here to grill you, man. I might be lazy as well. I got mirror, like the week or two I think before I stopped raiding in my 10-man guild, and I don't try to snapshot with it. I was just lazy with it. I just equipped it and just went through the fight, my normal rotation. Like I don't know if I've because I don't use weak auras, so it would be hard for me to like try to focus on waiting for it to proc in the top right
Yeah.
of my screen. So I used Bell for a long time, and I still performed decent with Bell, but I don't know if I'll put Bell back on. I might just try the two trinkets with Dark Moon card, just
Yeah.
swap them
And
through.
Chalice, like I bought the Chalice from Chalice, I don't know, the NWC from Molten. But did I mention it
Mm,
while we were recording it or
oh,
before? Okay.
I think we were recording.
Okay, so I bought that one. That was the other trinket, but it's gonna be like situational use, I guess, on few bosses. But yeah, it will be the capacity eater and the dark and
Yeah, there's what fiery quintessence and on use for some intellect. I like seeing big numbers, so an on use intellect seems kind of fun. Rune of Zeth was another one that I had saw that had on use int. They might
Yeah,
not sim well, but you know, if I see a big crit with it, it's gonna
but the
make me
Onius
want to use
effect
it.
is also pushing, the synapse springs on cooldown, right?
Hmm.
Or something else. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah,
Like
I think
it
so. Yeah,
has
you
it
can't
has
have
the same.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of yeah. Actually, there is this document. I think you are aware of it, right? The Cata
Yeah.
Boomkin P phase 2 gear options. I think there's like in-depth trinket comparison. Yeah, so you can see. Maybe you can put it on the screen if you're gonna edit this video.
I've got it up there right now while we're going. I'm like that. I've got it.
Yeah. So see, like the necro is actually lower compared to the MEC actually. And what was the rule of that? It's pretty low, right? It's the
It's
green one.
it's just below mirror. I mean, there's another one too where it's just got the delta
Yeah.
where it's like Dark Moon cards top, Necromantic Focus is second, Mirror's third, Rune of Zeth is fourth, Non Heroic Focus is next.
Yeah, rule of that is like minus 300,
Yeah,
350
yeah.
DPS. It's not that bad, right? If you're doing like 30 something K, so I guess it's 1%, but still, why would you go for lower?
Because a big number, lower
Yeah.
overall,
I
but
was I was actually afraid of trinkets in Cataclysm.
me
And I
too.
was like,
Yeah.
hopefully I will get my hands on mirror like really fast because I never got my phylactery in of the pitch, was it in ICC, right? I never got my
What
trinket in
was
ICC.
it? Lich
We
King?
probably was
It
only
was
Lich, right?
Saf,
Phylactery of
wasn't it? Saffron, or whatever the boss right before
no, no,
Lich King
Saffron,
was,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but wasn't it called like phylactery of a nameless Lich or something like that?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I never got that. We saw only one, and that went to a warlock.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I like
So I was
having.
like thinking like, hopefully I will get my hands on trinket in Cataclysm like really fast, and then like we killed Terrell with 3 mirrors. What the hell?
Hmm.
So hopefully it will be like that on Ragnaros. Like 3 capacitors. Okay, give me one.
Yeah, I like having one on use trinket and one proc trinket, and having two proc trinkets all of the first tier in this. I'm like, I feel like I'm not using enough in the macro. It's like Synapse Springs, Berserk. I need to have a trinket on use in that macro too. I'll
Actually,
try it out. I'll try it out.
one thing you're mentioning macro, so I have one question for you actually. Are you are engineer as well, right?
Hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Are you using bombs in
No, I
Cataclysm?
haven't. I've been
I'm still
lazy.
using Serenite. I'm still using Serenite bombs in my macro because they are very cheap and it's like free damage, right? So I
Yeah.
still in my mouse over macro for Starfall because there is the Big Daddy, right? But it has a cast time, doesn't it? I never tried actually, but
Mm.
as far as I know, it has a cast time, so it cannot be like an instant outside of global cooldown like it used to be, right? So
Yeah. That's why I didn't continue on like making bombs because they all had cast times and stuff. And I was like, do I want to really have Serenite? I respect it. I like little stuff like that because it adds up. You do two or three things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then
I
it adds
actually
up.
I still have it. I'm still using it in Cataclysm, even the Serenite bombs, right? Because like Sinestro, the big whelps, right? You're doing Starfall and sort of boom, the
Hmm.
bomb ends up there. You see like a lot of numbers, so I guess it ends up or on the half of right the whelps, boom. But yeah, it's little by little. It's how you roll in this game. So yeah.
All right, we've got weapons. We've got the legendary, which we'll get to, but there's a couple weapons we could go after before we get the legendary. There's some from Rag. There was the BOE from Trash that you can get before you even step foot into Firelands, or if you're doing rep runs, you can get that staff and then upgrade it with the crystalline fire, whatever it's called. Uh, so that might be my play. I might get the staff. I don't know if it's gonna sim better than my current main hand offhand, but once I can upgrade it, so was it 391? Then I might equip it and because I'm getting the first legendary staff in the 10-man group I'm in, so I don't have
Yeah,
to sweat
yeah,
on that.
yeah. A second legendary. Someone had Valanir, didn't you?
I had
In Ravalis
Valneria on my ult,
as
even yeah.
as a boomy. Yeah, fuck's sake. Yeah. Well, fortunately for me, like it was announced just a few days ago, so I am very, very, I really, really appreciate the officers in our guild, and I'm actually getting the staff, first staff, yeah, for us as well.
Congrats,
So yeah,
man.
yeah. So I'm not even looking what are the other options, you know. Yeah,
They're
so
all crap.
at this point, it's just like, man, I will have the stick. So
Well, there was
yeah,
a chart from the Druid Discord. I don't know if the proc was included in the DPS that they came out with here, because right now simming is putting me at like 43,000 with the staff, and
yeah,
it looked like the legendary was about 4K better than the best main hand offhand from Rag, and about
yeah.
4,300 better than the best staff. So
Yeah, like if you look at the document, right? If you go to the gear comparison into the sheet, uh, the same sheet you were looking at the trinkets.
mhm.
Like this was done before the theme was updated for the
Yeah,
stuff, right?
that
And I
makes
was looking
sense.
at it like, is the stuff really only like 200 DPS, above for the like non-legendary alternative? Like, are we sure? Like, I was simming it myself, like really, like, how is this close? Like, I don't even have to have a staff if it's like this. And they were like, yeah, but it's not implemented properly yet, right? And then they did the PTR, uh, released the PTR testing for the stick, and which I was actually part of. Like we were a bunch of ponies hanging out on PTR, just having fun on that target dummies, basically testing like more than 10k of cast of basically every single spell. And yeah, I think it's around 8% on mostly on almost everything. I think except Hurricane. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. I think Hurricane cannot proc it, but even like Shrooms can proc it, right? Like, I mean, that's crazy. Like,
Oh
imagine you
yeah.
have the staff, and for example, on Seat on Ragnaros, right? When you're doing the lots of ads, we'll just place Shrooms, and you have a chance to, have extra Shrooms in there. So I mean, it will be a massive. And yeah, and now it's like seeming like basically not only like 8% plus. So now it's like if you're like doing 40k ish DPS, right? So it's seeming like 4k, more than 4k compared to the alternatives. But there's also the hidden DPS upgrade for us because it's just moving us, faster between
Well,
eclipses. So you have more nature's grace, you have more damage and everything. So there's like more to it than just having extra cost here and there. So yeah, I will be very very happy with this stick. Hopefully, I will get more hundreds in tier 12.
I know that if once I get it, if I get it quick, well, I guess we're starting a week late. Man, I was like, if I got it really, really quick, then maybe I would try to cheese and pump and ask for a warlock in the raid and PI and all that stuff. But uh,
Yeah,
I don't think I'll get the opportunity. But I've enjoyed 10 over
yeah.
25.
Imagine you will have like capacitator and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The first week it is available, right? Like
In four
oh,
set.
give me the hundreds. And then you will die on random shit. And
All right. Well, that
that's how I did on tier 11. Like I was like min-max. I bought like every single pre-raid. Like I spent like I don't know like 300K
mm.
on like every single possible min-maxing. Like watching like doing the parsing rules. Like okay, I'm ignoring this. I'll just focus on this shit, and then I just you know die on stupid random shit. Like I don't know, like over aggro because Tong died. So I was second on threat and I'm dead, and they killed it. I was like,
Yeah,
what
no.
the?
Like wipe it
Uh,
up.
yeah, I'm actually sometimes you have it in mind, right? Like secretly, like okay, it's not supposed to be like that, right? Like okay, like, let's do this as soon as possible and as clean as possible. Sometimes like, oh no, I died to stupid shit. Like I like crossing through. Maybe they might die, and I have a second chance again. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've been there.
yeah.
All right, I think that was everything. I think we've covered all that I had written out here. Is there anything else that you can think of that we should throw in
I
here at
was
the end?
actually wanted to ask you something, but we kind of steered away with something, so I forgot what I wanted to ask you. Hmm, not sure.
Think about it really quick. I'll close it out. Just bring it up if you remember what it was. I'll have the link to your YouTube in the comments of the video here. Any plans on streaming at all? And videos aside, maybe you'll stream because you streamed on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have a laptop and a lot of add-ons, and I barely have FPS as it is now because I'm basically raiding in my bed on my couch, like playing with just laptop, like lying in bed on my belly, and it kind of kills my FPS if I stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably not. And I'm also nervous when I do it, and so probably not.
Well, I'll be keeping an eye on your logs and see how you're doing throughout Firelands. Maybe we'll get back together again before Dragon Soul comes out.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully. I never tried Dragon Soul before, so
Me neither. Yeah.
I yeah, I want to stay here for a month as well. Are you staying here for a month?
Probably. Yeah. It depends on what Sod is doing and if what comes after Sod too, depending on the timeline of everything and how it lines up. But hey, I'm not playing retail at all, so
Yeah.
whatever's going
When
on in
did you
classic, I'll play.
when did you quit in OG?
Hmm. Warlords of Draenor, I think. I
Oh,
played
so
through
you went
mods.
far.
Yeah, yeah. I was PvPing though. Like I PvP'd back in the day, and then when I came back is when I started to do some PvE stuff. It
Right,
was nice.
right.
All right,
I
GT.
was, yeah.
Thanks for joining me, man.
Thanks
Uh,
for having me. Yeah,
I'll see you soon.
yeah. Hopefully.